chance of applying to one of the top business programs within Canada. To get started, here's a quick overview of what's on the itinerary for tonight. I'll be sharing a little bit about myself, my high school experience, a program called Army Cadets, my university years, and work post-graduation. At the very end, I'm also going to leave some time for Q&A, so let's jump right into it. A quick overview about myself. I am an ABC, American-born Chinese that grew up in Toronto. I went through the public school system within TDSB, also known as the Toronto District School Board, and was part of the gifted program starting in grade 5. I ended up going to Don Mills Collegiate Institute for high school and graduated from the University of Western Ontario with an Ivy degree. Fun fact about myself, I have a younger brother that is 2 years younger than me, and we were both raised in a very traditional and Chinese family setting and are both fully bilingual in Mandarin. First off, my high school years. Being part of the gifted program brought me to DMCI as it was my designated homeschool based on district. I arrived in grade 10 as I had previously graduated from Zion Heights in grade 9, and Don Mills was known for their gifted program and academic achievements, as traditionally there have been very successful students who were able to receive acceptances from top Ivy League programs in the US. We also had a project-based visual arts program called Cyber Arts, where it also attracted students who specialized in this area. For my high school years, I took all the gifted offer courses until grade 12 and was consistently on the honor roll. Some of the activities I was involved in throughout the years ranged from athletic teams, orchestra club, where I played the viola. I was involved with business-oriented programs such as DECA Ontario and Junior Achievement. Outside of clubs, I took the time to also volunteer, one of them being the Breakfast for Learning program offered at my high school. This consisted me of getting up 2 hours early and arriving to help volunteer my time in the free breakfast program that was offered at DMCI. And last but not least, I was heavily involved in a program called the Royal Canadian Army Cadets, which I will touch on in just a moment. Just a quick snapshot of some of my experiences that I have just previously mentioned. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so I'll let the images do the talking for me. As you can see, I really like getting involved outside of the classroom and also had a huge side hobby of photography, as shown by my ability to document some of my experiences. As you can see on the top, I was pretty active in the sports community. I was also involved in DECA Ontario for 3 years during high school. And honestly, this program was my first interaction of what business meant and a taste of what I wanted to go into later on for university. The last row is a quick view of some of my experiences during the cadet program, and I'll have a few slides dedicated to it later on. Okay, so I've specifically allocated a portion of my presentation for tonight to the cadet program, also known as Tongzijing. You may be wondering, why is this part of a talk regarding a university application process or looking at graduate programs? Well, to be honest, this program was a pivotal point in my life, and looking back at the 6 years I've invested in the program, I was very fortunate to reap the benefits of my cadet experience and wanted to showcase some of the highlights and how it had built me to the point of where I am today. Just a quick snapshot of some of my summer camp experiences through the program, and a quick slide on some of the impact it has had. I specifically wanted to allocate some time to touch on this cadet program because it really shaped me into becoming a better version of myself, especially during my adolescent years. The growth was truly exceptional, as I had learned a lot of hard skills and soft skills to push me into areas where I may not have been comfortable in stepping into if it wasn't for the opportunity offered through cadets. There were so many hard skills that I've learned throughout the 6 years, examples being first aid, mountaineering, whitewater canoeing and kayaking, rock climbing, etc. Now, there's also the valuable soft skills that set me up for success in the long term. I've been placed in positions where I've had to lead, work in team settings, and also really to carry myself in a more disciplined mindset. The people of the program. I've been lucky enough to meet people all over the country and even globally, as I've had international experiences through the program and have made long-lasting friendships with a group of friends that to this day I stay in close contact with. The experience overall, being able to do and try new things that are generally a little bit out of the norm and really super exciting. And I've been able to do many expeditions in different areas, whether it's summer or winter. And these will be long-lasting memories that I will carry with me for the rest of my life and that I still sometimes look back on right now. Again, I really like my pictures, so here are just some of the experiences I've been fortunate to have through the cadet program and really shape me into who I am as a person right now. All right, so some advice that connects back to the topic of why you're all here today to learn about applying for school and looking into the future. At this point in high school, you're at a point where there's a lot of question marks and uncertainty. My advice right now is do your research. Learn about the different universities that you're interested in, whether it's through alumni, whether it's through opportunities like this, listening in on key seminars to learn more about what is offered and what is possible. Utilize the internet to your advantage. There are forums out there where people discuss about applying, YouTube. There are a lot of videos made by current students who walk you through the process of their own experience that are really, really valuable and honestly very easy to access with the internet being so worldwide. Being able to recognize and know your strengths is very important. Evaluate by sitting down and really writing down what you're interested in and where you can see yourself in terms of career or in terms of location. That can help you pinpoint and narrow down where you would like to apply for university, as well as what you may be interested in studying. Helping you recognize your strengths I recommend by participating in different activities to see what you like and what you dislike. Academics. This is really important. Unfortunately, your marks do have to be competitive if you're looking to apply for top programs, whether it's in Canada or the US. So set yourself up for success right now. Have a strong foundation for even your future studies. Try to go for AP courses. Go for specialized programs such as IB or gifted. Be on the honor rolls within your school system as well. And last but not least, your extracurriculars. Get involved as schools really do look for well-rounded candidates. I would say this especially applies for B schools, so business programs. Remember that quality of those experiences matter more than the quantity. What is the impact that it has on you, and what did you have? What did you bring forth to the experience as well? And being able to craft a story and speaking to those experiences are also very super important. Okay, on to the topic of university. So for today's talk, I'm mainly going to be focusing on my path, which was looking and really focusing on Ivy, which was my top choice for business school in Canada. For my 4 years, I ultimately decided to go to the University of Western Ontario, and I did graduate from Ivy with an honors business administration degree. And later on, I'll probably refer to this as HBA. That's what it's known for. Wanted to give a quick shout out and also highlight some of the really good top business programs within Canada. This is just a quick reference slide, obviously. I would say most of them are going to be located within the province of Ontario. However, out in the West, UBC Sauder School of Business is also a top ranked program. I would say in terms of the business field, it leans more heavily towards the East Coast because it is connected later on to your career opportunities for recruitment and also job hunting. So that's just something to take into consideration. Obviously, Ivy Business School, the program that I'm going to highlight a little bit in just a few minutes. Rotman at UFT, the St. George downtown campus is very well known. Smith School of Business, it was recently named as Smith's. Back in my day when I was applying for university, it was known as Queen's Com or Queen's Commerce. University of Waterloo, their AFM accounting stream program is very well known. There's a co-op portion to that, which gives you a head start experience in terms of work field and also being able to have that support and alumni system to go work for Big Four. Schulich School of Business located in York University. Obviously, UBC out in the west for Sauder School of Business, and then McGill, highlighting a school that is well known globally, located in Quebec. All right, so I'm here to rep my alma mater, as I'm a very proud Ivy grad. As one of the leading business schools in Canada, the Ivy name is well recognized within the industry and honestly around the world globally. The Ivy's Business School is at Western University, and it's located in London, Ontario, Canada. It's 2 hours south of Toronto. And Ivy is very unique because it is a 2+2 program where you study something else, either at Western or at another university for the first 2 years before you move into the honors business administration program or the HBA program at Ivy for your third year, which is called HBA1, and your fourth year of university, which is called HBA2. It's a 2-year Ivy program. You can also stay for an additional 5th year to complete a combined degree, which is an option that I will touch on later on. All right, to get into Ivy, it is unique because there is a status that you can have right now going into university. It's called Ivy AEO. It's an advanced entry opportunity status that you apply for in high school in grade 12. And it's a conditional pre-admission status granted to exceptional high school students for the Ivy program. So essentially, it's a predetermined spot for you based off of your application right now in high school, where you will be saved a spot in third year for your first year of HBA. Ivy AEO status is available to students who choose to study at Western, so you must accept an offer from Western or one of its affiliated programs in their colleges for the first 2 years of university. And approximately 75% of the incoming Ivy class are AEO status students. So either they're from Western, and the remaining 25% are going to be students who did not have AEO, who may have discovered an interest in business and applied, or you may be studying at a different university and applying in your second year to transfer to Western for their IB program. However, it is a little bit more competitive if you don't have AEO status because there's less spots to compete for. Here's a quick rundown on what they are looking at when you're applying for AEO status. It can be broken down into kind of 3 sections. The strength of your high school average. So this can be your grade 11 or grade 12 marks, basically your average, depending on when you're applying. Taking a grade 12 university designated math course, and then also having extracurricular involvement outside of the classroom. So they want to see more of who you are as a person just outside of your grades. What happens after you gain AEO? So let's say you were offered AEO status. Well, you're not in the clear yet, as once you enter university, you have to ensure that you're fulfilling the following requirements even after you have started your university progress. A minimum average of 80% for your combined first and second year courses have to be met. a passing grade of at least 70% in a mandatory second-year course called Business 2257, and you have to maintain your involvement with extracurriculars during your first 2 years as well. So let's say you have AEO, you have to make sure that these are all met before you are officially offered an HBA offer to head into Ivy in your third year. All right, so what was my path to Ivy? Well, I applied for AEO status in grade 12 through the OUAC cycle and received my conditional AEO status in May of 2015. I had also accepted an offer to enroll at Western for political science for the first 2 years of university as well. For my AEO application, I actually had an average of 89%. I took a grade 12 advanced functions class and also had a diverse resume of extracurriculars, as you saw with all of the pictures that I've shared previously. Mainly my involvement in Army cadets, sports teams, and voluntary activities were those that I have written in my application. Do note that for the year I was applying in, so back in 2015, the competitive average was set at around 90%. Right now, based off of the most recent information, it's now at 93%. However, because they do look at the holistic application, the strengths of my activities outside of my grades allowed me to be a successful candidate for AEO status. Once I entered Western, I actually took a pro-business case method structured class in first year called 1220, and also a mandatory course that I mentioned previously called 2257 in second year. My involvement in clubs during university included Western Venture Association, Pre-Business Student Network, coined as PBSN, the Chinese Student Association, GCC, and also I partook in intramural ultimate frisbee. As I was able to fulfill all of the AEO requirements, I officially received my HBA offer in May of 2017 and entered the Ivy program in my third year of Western. So these are actually two photos I took during orientation kickoff week when I entered Ivy. The first one being our picture day in class, where they take a shot of us and our name tags for the teachers and the professors to use for attendance tracking throughout the semester. And the other photo was taken after our Ivy opening ceremony and on our return to campus as we walked into the Ivy building for the first time. So I wanted to show some quick highlights of why Ivy is different and why it convinced me to kind of choose Ivy as a program for the best fit for myself. When you enter HBA 1, you're actually assigned to a section. So now they've actually expanded the program. There are 10 sections, with each section having a class of 75 to 80 students assigned to it. For the whole first year of the Ivy program, you take all of your classes with those same peers. So every day from Monday to Friday, you have the same peers and you're working alongside them every single day. In your second year of HBA, you have more flexibility with designing your schedule, so you are able to actually choose the courses that you want, versus in first year, those are all made for you. Everyone takes the same classes. Like I mentioned previously, you do have the option of doing the 2+2. Like I mentioned previously, you do also have the option of pursuing a dual degree, which means that instead of graduating in fourth year, you stay for an extra year for your fifth, but at the end, you graduate with 2 degrees. So the second degree that you choose to graduate in would be what you studied in the first 2 years of your program. Courses at Ivy are taught through the case method, case-based method, where you put yourself in the shoes of the key decision maker and provide recommendations in solving real business problems. So all the learning is going to be done through examples, such as the case I've added right here, where you read a prompt or a problem, and then you have to walk through or talk through the case by running the numbers, and then in a classroom setting, you contribute to it in an interactive way of learning. This is more engaging than a typical lecture where it's just a prof talking and you're just learning from them, and allows you as a student to contribute your perspectives and your ideas from a diverse background. IB is actually the first business program in Canada to structure this way of learning, and it actually mimics Harvard's business program, where they actually pioneered the case study method. So it's actually kind of similar to Harvard Business School as well as their MBA program. Everyone is also going to be learning through cases. You are marked on your participation, so there is a grade value to it. And that means if you're missing class and you're not showing up with your name tag, you're not going to get marks. Within IB, we also undergo 48-hour reports where you are given a case or a problem, and you have 2 days to produce a report with a group of people that you're placed in. So oftentimes it's stimulating high pressure environment where you're supposed to get an outcome or write out a report. You also have real life competitions scattered throughout the school year. 2 are very well known. It's hosted by BCG and Deloitte. That counts towards your mark as well. And finally, you partake in learning experiences outside of the classroom through programs such as University Exchange Program. IB offers an Israel trip. They also have an African Service Learning Program. So these are all trips that you go to the country to complete the course and get a mark for. And we also have a program that is very famous called Leadership Under Fire, where it mimics a military approach to learning, and it really puts you in high stressful situations that really test your patience and your limits. All right, 2 other quick snapshots of what just Ivy looks like inside the building. These were taken during my orientation day, where we had talent night and also ice cream and games within the Ivy courtyard day. All right, just wanted to provide a quick snapshot of what your day will look like if you do end up going to Ivy. You basically have 3 classes every single day from Mondays to Friday. Like I mentioned, all of your courses are preset. You're in the same classroom, you're with the same peers. Everything is very structured, and you either start at 8 o'clock in the morning or at 8:20. There are no later classes. It's structured to help set you up for success for the real world, as when you enter the job force, you don't get to sleep in and start your day at noon. Most companies will require you to work at 8 or 9 o'clock. So this is just a quick example of what your fall term courses will look like. The set schedule for your fall classes will be Accounting and Financial Fundamentals, also named as FinFun, Decision Making with Analytics, which we call DMA. You have a finance course, and also Leading People and Organization, we call it LPO, and one last course called Communications. Next is your winter term, so your second half of the year. You would have a different set of classes. They're going to encompass strategy, operations, leveraging information technology, as well as a marketing course. And then throughout the year, there is one course called Learning Through Action, which you may have seen in my example schedule. There are no regular class sessions for this. This is a mark that comes from all of the competitions that I mentioned before previously, as well as special events. So Boston Consulting Group has a case competition. You get placed in a team, and then you actually go through rounds of judging, and the finalists get to present in front of BCG employees, and you actually get to have a meet and greet with them as your reward and whatnot. Deloitte has an innovation forum, so you work with your team to create an innovative solution. Again, it's within the span of 3 days, where the finalists get to present to the Deloitte judges, and this is a winter course event. All right, so through the program, obviously, the end goal of business school for most people is entering the workforce. So I've included some snapshots as well as insight as to the numbers that maybe you or your parents would be interested in if you do go into the business path. Ivy is unique because they publish an annual report based off of the recent graduating class and provide an insight on the stats behind the recruitment for everyone to see. So this is very consistent. You can search up past reports to understand where people have gone, what the median salary that was offered for the students. This is all coming from surveys that are done by the students that are graduating. When I graduated, I also got a link that it asks you to fill out which company you're going to, what your salary, your base, your comp, details like that, which is going to be used for these reports. This is just a quick snapshot based off of the recent 2022 class. And we have an average salary with total comp and base salary, as well as the percentage of students that had an offer by January 1st. Again, in business school, you'll realize that people really like their numbers. So we have a breakdown of where the 2022 graduating class ended up being placed in terms of location. A large presence is in the GTA/Toronto, but like I mentioned, Ivy is a worldwide branded, recognized school. So I would say one of the well-known facts about Ivy is that if you are looking to break into the US market for your career, Ivy has a very well established reputation that will allow you to be set up with opportunities to try and pursue that route. So we have 10% of the graduating class ending up in the US for their careers. Here's an even more fine breakdown of kind of the industries that you end up going into as an Ivy grad, recruiting into full-time. I would say Ivy is very well known for finance recruitment as well as consulting. We also have a growing presence for students that end up going into tech. So FANG, like Apple, Google, Microsoft, that's usually a pivot. If you do a dual degree with like computer science and business, that really sets you up for success. But I'd say consulting and finance are what are being pushed, as well as what is really set up in terms of steps for your career advancement within the Ivy program. So you have a lot of resources if those are your top employment goals. Ivy would be a good program to consider if that's what you want to end up in. All right, so like I had an advice slide for high school students. If you want some advice about university, I would say no matter what, and this does not only apply for business school or only apply for Ivy, when you get into university, you should still continue to grow and pursue things to help set you up for success for the workforce, for further education, whatever it is that you choose that will fit your needs. Be open-minded, try new things. It's a fresh start. A lot of people, when they go to university, you get to move away from home for the first time. This is your time to experiment and try new things, meet new people. This is the best time to do it. There's no real downside to the situation. Summertime is really, really important. And honestly, as I created this deck and presentation, it has been mind-blowing how competitive everything is in terms of grades, in terms of recruiting cycles. Summer internships are very important now. Unfortunately, you do have to get on it very fast, plan ahead, network, do research. Anything that you can to get ahead in the curve, do it, because it's really a key part of being successful. Network. So seek advice from people that you know, as they are a valuable resource. You're already getting a head start. You're taking part in webinars such as this to do research, to test things out, to learn from other people. So whether it's now or in the future, the resources of the network that you have are really, really crucial. And fourth, never stop learning. I would say keep opening yourself up to opportunities to better yourself. Investing in yourself never hurts. Take the time to focus on what you enjoy, and honestly, don't lose sight of it, because there's more outside to the bubble that you're in terms of like, oh, I really need to get into a good university because everything hinges on it. Or once you're in university, it's a rat race to recruit. You're always competing to see where you're going to end up next. Take some time and actually enjoy and learn for yourself, because university time, you're never going to get it back afterwards. There's enough time to worry and to be competitive about your future. All right, winding it down, just going to quickly touch on my career path. So I've been very lucky. I did recruit through Ivy. We had a lot of networking sessions. So Ivy traditionally will welcome companies that are top recruiters for Ivy students. They usually invest a lot into it. So let's say alumni where we graduated, a lot of my friends who work at companies, whether it's the major banks, the major consulting companies, their company actually lets them take a day off to go back to London and speak to students for networking and also doing first round interviews to pick out individual candidates to offer second round interviews at their offices and whatnot. So that's the process that is in place. For me, I did a summer internship at Scotiabank in their wealth management department in my HBA 1 year, so my third year of university. And then in May 2019, so when I graduated from Ivy, I received a full-time offer from S&P, so Standard and Poor's. This was an application posting within the Ivy career portal that I applied to. So that's the process that I had in terms of leveraging the resources that Ivy had to offer. In July of 2019, so my start date was a little bit earlier than the rest of my friends. Most people started in the fall. I actually moved to Denver, Colorado in the US for the S&P program. It's a rotational program, so it's kind of a training program. And it just happens so that they were based in Denver. I know it's very random and very different, but it also really allowed me to grow as an individual within the time that I spent there. And then, unfortunately, because of COVID, in April of 2020, I did end up making the decision to move back to Toronto just because it didn't make sense for me to be remote and not being in person. And I wanted to spend some time closer with my family. So I made the decision to come back. And I still continued to work at S&P. It was just all virtual. In the context, everyone was honestly virtual. So that was the time that I spent in Toronto. All right, and then where am I currently now? I recently made the decision as of last year, September. I moved back to the US. And now I'm currently actually based in our Boston office. I had spoken with my team that I wanted to try living in the US and also being closer to my team as they are located in New York. So I moved to Boston as of last fall. And I'm still 4 years later. It's crazy how much time has passed, but I'm still with S&P Global. And a little bit of context of what I do. So I'm an account or relationship manager, and I help support a book of business for the team that I'm on. So at S&P, we have product offerings, and my responsibility is to ensure that the clients at the end of the day are happy, ensuring that they are renewing their services. We are looking to upsell the products that they subscribe to, offer any trainings and support that they need for their services. And my accounts are the big four accounting firms, so EY, KPMG, Deloitte, and PwC, as well as BCG Consulting Group. These are the accounts that are under my responsibility. So anything that comes through from them, I am on the receiving end of it. And it's a pretty big book of business, you'd be surprised, because it is a global it's a global account. So EY, although all of these companies are based in a member firm structure, so they have offices all around the world, if they are looking to subscribe, in the end, we are in charge of the conversation and in charge of offering pricing. So we collaborate as a team with our different regional reps. Let's say Deloitte China is looking to buy a product. In the end, we are the ones responsible with offering a pricing offer, and then we do the paperwork and doing all of the licensing procedures. So in total, the 5 companies are actually valued at around $50 million. And that's what I've enjoyed working on. And obviously, since I'm still here, I've still really valued the experience that I've gained throughout my years of my career. And I'm still here. So I'm not sure where I will end up next. But in terms of my career, Ivy really set me up for success because it prepared me to work in team settings. Under high pressured situations, I'm able to react faster. And honestly, the soft skills are the ones that you don't really realize, but public speaking, being able to present, being able to make PowerPoints, all of that is really crucial down the road. All right. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to me present about my journey and my experiences. I'm happy to take questions at this time for Q&A, unless Maria or the Training Center has anything to pitch in right now.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. I think it's a great presentation. So 大家可不可以在 chatting 里边说一声谢谢啊？我觉得这是无比精彩的一个 presentation。我们刷一排888，感谢好吗？所有的家长们，如果您感觉刚才我们的 Lucia 做这个讲座非常精彩的话，我们刷一排888，说一声感谢啊！因为我自己刚才一直在听，我觉得口齿非常啊，真的很清楚，而且呢，言简意赅，但是呢，讲得特别的清楚啊，所以。维多利亚，我们大同教育的每一场讲座其实都是这么精彩，我特别为我们每一位主讲人感到骄傲啊！其实大同教育做了这么多公益讲座，包括呢我们的家长受益匪浅，我自己凭一己之力，某种程度上把那个整个加拿大的家长对孩子的升学标准全部拉高了啊！我觉得当年 Ruby 那个年代，我们求爷爷告奶奶到处找人问你们孩子怎么上的藤校，怎么拿的这么好的 offer。都没有这种资讯，都没有人能够这么好的帮助到我们啊！所以现在呢，我愿意呢毫无保留来跟大家来进行这些分享。那我也希望呢，大家能够呢把这个好消息传递出去，让更多的人能够知道每个月的最后一个的这个周日晚上8点我们有这样一场讲座。那我呢现在首先有一个好消息啊，就是呢，我们今天开放5个名额。可以跟我们的大藤导师，包括我们的 Lucia 来约一个半小时的1对1，然后一个免费的1对1来咨询一下孩子的情况。那我们呢，首先大家如果想呢获得这5个名额，在 chatting 里可以敲一个1，我就知道你希望呢说，我要能够有机会跟 Lucia 老师聊一下，或者有机会跟我们的藤校的导师们聊一下，然后你非常的有帮助啊！那我们呢，拿起手机来扫一下，怎么样报名获得这个咨询呢？拿起手机来扫一下整个屏幕左边的2维码，然后这个是我们大藤教育的负责人的2维码，您跟他讲，你说我已经准备约这个1对1。那我们呢，另外呢，在我们整个呢，在屏幕的右边，然后会有一个第2个2维码。那这个2维码呢是问卷调查系统，您可以把孩子的一个情况在里边写一下。我们希望是7年级以上的孩子能够来咨询一下，把这个名额尽可能的留给7年级以上的孩子，因为太小的孩子呢，某种程度上就是说呢，这个还没有那么紧迫。但7年级以上的7年级、8年级、9年级、10年级、11年级、12年级的孩子已经非常的紧迫大家可以把这个留意一下。那我呢给 Lucia 呢一点点喝水的时间，然后呢我们将进行今天精彩的第2部分，那就是答疑环节那我们呢给 Lucia 喝一口水然后我们就开始进行呢答疑。那在这个过程当中呢，大约有一个3到5分钟的时间，我会给大伙简单的介绍一下大藤教育那大藤教育呢，我们是有中国校区和海外校区，多伦多、温哥华、波士顿、伦敦都有我们的分校，然后并且呢，我们大藤教育基金会跟徐悲鸿艺术和戴泽艺术基金会都有非常好的合作。那我们主要是针对呢，其实呢几个阶段，一个是3年级的孩子，很多人问我说，校长什么时候就可以把孩子送给大藤教育？我说从3年级开始 gift 我们就可以有一些辅导。那我们呢5年级呢就是考小 set， 考多大附中比如说在多伦多这边考 UCC 考 Howard Girl 考那个 Crescent 然后5年级是小赛的辅导加面试。 那我们接着到了7、8年级呢，我们就可以接收孩子为了大学做准备。7、8年级是备考，就是开始就是准备跑起来，然后9、10、11这3年是最重要的。那这3年呢，我们将帮助大家完成10项全能。那10项全能呢，我过一会儿会讲到。那我们大堂的导师会每2个星期，然后像 Lucy 啊等等，可以跟大家进行一个沟通和交流。那到了12年级呢，其实基本上已经做不了什么事情了。那这个最主要是呢，我们就是8所名校的申请包括10月份的早录申请。然后因为呢，最晚10月底就要把早录的申请给递上去。我们今年呢，12月底的时候就已经拿到了。我们有一位哈佛的早录 offer， 然后加州理工的早录 offer， 然后我们在1月份的时候呢，又获得了芝加哥大学的一个早录 offer， 另外呢2月份的时候拿到了康奈尔的一个早录 offer 所以这是我们整个规划时间线。那具体有哪些服务呢？就是一个是 coaching 这个是我们最主要做的，而且我们现在非常多的孩子都在进行，就是9到11年级每2周1次会面，然后开始给大家进行呢时间轴这个行军路线图，然后另外呢单项辅导，比如说小 SAT、ACT， 另外 AP 另外呢论文修改，然后课外作业这个 DECA 辅导等等，我们全部都是有的家长可以利用这个时间呢，把您的问题可以在这个 Q&A 里边敲一下您的问题我们会请 Lucia 老师呢挑取3个最有代表性的问题进行一下回答，挑取最有代表性的3个问题进行回答那我们呢所以这是刚才我给大伙提到的就是我们实际上有这些服务，好吗？好，那我相信 Lucia 老师呢已经看了有一部分的这个问题了。那下面呢就是说呢，我们可以呢请 Lucia 老师呢进行一下问题的解答进行一下问题的解答。那这样看一下 Lucia 老师有没有准备好可以
好了，对，我看了一下回答，然后就是我会挑3个，就是现在直线的回答一下。所以有一个人现在问了，someone asked on the call, how you're actually marked during the IB program? Is it just through case studies? So yes, part of it is through your participation in class, so it's about 20% of your mark at the end of the overall course, but you also have regular exams, and these exams are different than what you'd expect. It's again a case that you're given, and then you get marked based off of your analysis of your writing, and it's a 4-hour exam. So you sit down for 4 hours, do a thorough assessment, write out your recommendation, and this is all online, so you're not writing for 4 hours. You can use your laptop to do it. And then there's also different components such as doing participation that will be involved. So you usually have 2 exams during your courses. And if there are assignments, for some of the courses, the data ones, there are like assignments that you have to do to get marked on. So that's the overall encompassing way of how you get marked and graded for each course. There was another question for whether comparing Ivy and Rotman. So I'm going to answer this in Chinese. If someone does want it in English, just let me know. 所以有人家长或者是学生问了一下 Rotman 在多大大学的商学院和 Ivy 的各种优势。Ivy 它的优势，我觉得我花了很长时间已经聊了，就是因为它是从课题里的方法，它是一个比较小的班学生里，就是名字和能够就是介入环境、学习环境会比 Rotman 的课程好一点，因为 Rotman 其实不只是他这个商学院，就是除此以外，多大大学的学生录取每年都很多。Ivy 学院一般会要600、700个学生 ，Rotman 它是它的2倍，甚至有可能是3倍，它有几千个学生，你只是一个数字在这个学校。你去上课或者是你去缺课，没人会去去找你，或者是问候你为什么没有来。然后它很多的就是考试方面的学习方式。然后也不代表你一定会到大2你会 就是毕业或者进入 Raman 的第2轮，因为它有很多的也是要求，像数学或者什么要及格。Raman 和 Ivy 还有一个区别就是它最后你毕业的时候是一个 Commerce degree， 所以你修的课程必须是包括规定的一些数学课在大学级别。Ivy 没有这个要求，因为他毕业的时候是一个 Bachelor of Arts， 就是 Bachelor of Business Administration， 所以它不是一个 Commerce degree。Queen's Com、Smith School of Business 也是一样的，它是有数学规定，所以在大1或者大2，它的数学课会比较多。Ivy 相当以来不会是太重，就是你要是数学不是很强，像我所以我做的研究或者什么，我觉得 Ivy 是最适合我的商学院路线。还有一个人问了，就是问了童子军的这个问题，我想就是去回答一下。童子军 Someone asked about my experience at Army Cadets. For the program, honestly, there is no set limit. You can join starting at the age of 12 and up until the age of 19. I left after 6 years because I moved away from Toronto to London for university, and it was just not a way for me to stay in the program. So 6 years was what I dedicated to the program, and it really helped me in terms of my application process. Not saying that you have to go through cadets. It can be going through piano class. It can be something that you're investing your time in, as long as you can speak to it and really hit on and write about the features that Ivy wants to see in a quality candidate, like leadership, teamwork, involvement, what you contributed to the experience that you had. That's what's really important for you to be able to showcase in your application. 然后 Maria 是不是就是只选3个？
对，你看一下是不是有代表性的这3个？对，
对，我好像已经回答了3个，可是在别的我会就是打字回，就是要是还有点时间我会回。
没关系，如果你觉得还有一些其他的也有代表性的，你可以
行，所以有一个人 someone asked if I maintain 80% average in extracurriculars. That is only if you have an AO status going into Western. So you already have AO status from high school. If you maintain 80% extracurriculars and also minimum passing grade of 70 in that mandatory business class course that you have to take in 2nd year, then you are guaranteed to enter Ivy afterwards. Someone also asked, what type of math do you recommend for applying business programs? Honestly, if you are applying for business programs, most likely you will need at least 2 out of the 3 from an Ontario high school course. A lot of my peers that I knew actually took all 3 just to be able to pick and choose which one to use in their top grade average calculation. I only took 1 because I was set on going to Ivy, and their only requirement was that you only had to take 1 university-bound grade 12 math course, and I chose to take advanced functions. But I know people that took all 3, so advanced functions, calculus, as well as data management. So that is honestly up to you. If math is your strong suit, I do recommend taking it. It doesn't hurt to boost your average calculation for whatever program you apply to, but it depends on specifically the program that you are applying to. So do your research, speak with people, and also go to the university events that are held. I know there's a big one that gets hosted downtown every year where there are university booths that you can go up to and ask questions. That opportunity will help clarify some of the administrative requirements for programs. Oh, this is a very interesting question that I wanted to ask. So what's the overall Ivy atmosphere for Asian female students at Ivy? As a Chinese Asian female, I felt totally safe, as well as I really enjoyed my experience. I know I can't speak to everyone, but Ivy, when they're looking to accept students and making up the courses as well as the sections, they try to be smart and strategic. So it's not, they'll look at what ethnicity you are, what background you are in, what did you study in the first 2 years? So it's not just a class of all like business students or all computer science kids. They try to balance the course of the class. So in terms of ratio of female to males, obviously they're going to be more males in the class, but they try to make sure that there are an even number of females spread out between all of the different sections. I have really good relationships with my female classmates, and some of them are really long life friends that I will have and continue to keep in touch with down the road. I don't really feel like lesser than my peers in terms of my male counterpart. You actually have specific programs such as Women in Management Clubs in Ivy that will help create a safe space in terms of recruiting and getting mentorship. There's also female designated scholarships that only you can apply for if you are a female. So all of that really help contribute and make it an equal kind of experience for females, I would say. So definitely that's honestly something that I've never thought of, but I'm glad I'm able to speak to it. All right, why didn't I choose ramen? Honestly, for me personally, I was not strong in math, and applying for ramen, you needed at least 2 math courses from grade 12 in your top 6 calculations. So already I was at a disadvantage for that. And I knew in ramen, because it's a commerce degree, in first year of university, you are required to take 3 or 4 math courses. And if you don't pass them, then you actually don't proceed into the next year of the Rotman program. As well, I wanted to move away from Toronto. Growing up in Toronto for all my life, this allowed me to try something different and something new. And London isn't too far, it's 2 hours. So basically I went home like every other weekend to see my family. It's not too far where like it's a hassle to get home, but it's also far enough where like your parents are not like dropping by unannounced every other day. I didn't want that experience. I wanted to put myself in a position where I can grow as a person. And honestly, university was where I learned how to cook, learn how to organize and structure my day. So if I don't get groceries, then my fridge is going to be empty and I have to buy food instead of making something healthy to eat. Yes, there is a double degree. So someone asked, what are there? Basically, all of the listed degrees that you can think of, most on top of your head, you can do a dual. Western, as well as the Ivy page that you can search up, will have an official list of all of the degrees that you can do a dual degree with. Some of the most popular ones I've seen are engineering, computer science, and actually some people choose to pursue law. The only thing to note is if you're doing a law dual degree, because of the law portion, you actually have to do an extra year. So instead of 5 years, you have to stay for 6 years to get your Ivy degree and your law degree, just because law is a little bit more different. But those are probably the most common ones I've seen amongst my peers and amongst graduates that came out of Ivy. And it's valuable because Ivy is known for business. So if you're going into corporate law, a lot of people choose to go through Western's dual degree law program. This is cool. What dorms do you recommend? There are 3 types of dorm situation. I ended up choosing the single room. So I lived at Elgin. So I had my own room. It wasn't a shared bedroom where there's 2 beds and you're basically in each other's spaces. Honestly, you have to look at the financial aspect. Having your own room is the most expensive one. So if you can't afford it, you might have to go for a hybrid, which is you just share a room with someone where there's no wall, but you have your own separate washroom, versus the traditional dorm style where it's just you have a room, you have another roommate in it, and then you share your washroom with the whole floor. So it's whatever experience you want to make out of in university. And for my last question, I'm going to answer is for Ivy offering AEO for the first 2 years. Ivy doesn't choose or designate it. You apply for the program. So you have to apply for AEO status on its own separately. But you also have to make sure that when you're applying for university during grade 12 through the portal, the OUAC portal, if you're in Ontario, you have to specify I'm applying for Western for let's say political science, which is what I did, or you can apply for like another program. You have to get an acceptance letter from Western first before you're actually able to get the AEO status. So just something to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. 好的，各位家长呢，我们再一次感谢 Lucia 非常精彩的讲解。那我最后再跟大家强调一次啊，我看到好像已经是只剩下最后2个名额啊。如果大家呢对商学院感兴趣，希望能够跟我们的 Lucia 老师啊，跟我们的大腾的这些导师们有一个免费的1对1的咨询的话呢，那我们可以呢扫码现在呢进行一个1对1的咨询。我们只有5个名额，刚才呢已经有人敲1啊，所以呢我们最后还有2个名额，大家呢扫一下屏幕的左边的二维码，这是我们 Terry， 然后呢同时扫一下屏幕右边的二维码，然后填写预约问卷，好吗？那大家呢这个我希望大家能够抓紧这个时间。那个再一次呢要感谢一下 Lucia 给我们带来这么精彩的一个讲座啊，这个那我呢也会给大伙进行一点腾妈的分享，因为今天其实我是非常非常辛苦啊，但是呢这个我还是希望能够有机会啊给大家呢更多的一些介绍，让我们呢每一个听讲座的人呢都可以有更多的一些收获，好吗？好的，那我再一次要感谢一下啊这个我们的 Lucia， 再一次感谢一下 Lucia。同时呢我们也预告一下后续的一些活动啊，这个因为我自己会有一个特别简短的这个考藤校的一些心得体会跟大家分享一下，好吗？好，露西亚，感谢你。我知道你们的时间都特别特别的紧张啊，Ruby 每次都是这个特别1分钟计啊，这个，所以我不想这个耽误啊这些年轻人的宝贵的时间。那我们再一次感谢一下 Lucia， 然后呢，这个我们整个这个讲座继续进行啊。好的，好，谢谢 Lucia， 下一次回多伦多，阿姨继续请你吃饭啊。这个大家要知道，这都是非常不容易的，跟孩子们建立感情，才能够请这些孩子来做这样的讲座。我希望大家有一颗感恩的心啊。好的，好，谢谢
大家。
好，感谢。好的，那各位直播间的家长们，我们呢，这个我再一次预告一下，这个在4月1号周六的晚上6点半，在421 Bentley Street 啊，然后呢 Unit 8，然后是一个200多人的这个新动力演艺大厅，然后我们会有一个栾居节多伦多见面会，我们会有3位世界击剑冠军，然后包括呢加拿大的这个青年组的冠军，会和大伙儿来分享如何通过击剑获取名校 offer 啊。那这个大家呢可以扫一下这个二维码，然后呢回复这个击剑，那我们呢这个会给大家一张免费票啊，因为我们现在是20块钱一张票，但是呢在今天晚上12点之前扫码并且回复这个击剑的小伙伴们将获得20块钱的这张免费的票啊。这是我们最近的一场大型的4月1号的周六6点半的一个见面会啊，一个线下活动。那另外一点呢，就是4月23号周日，这个讲座也是特别的受欢迎啊。我们请到了来自多大医学院的 Daniel， 他讲的特别特别的好。然后来讲呢，多大医学院的申请全攻略啊，这个二维码已经过期了，没关系，大家呢就还是呢走到这个走到这个二维码，就这个二维码啊，因为那个这是我们那个大腾的二维码，大家可以看一下啊。提醒一下，4月30号啊，4月23号Daniel的这个讲座，大家不要错过。然后另外一个呢，就是我们呢这个5月13号，如果有温哥华的朋友啊，同样这个也是有门票，但是呢这个早报名的朋友，我会给大家一个免费的这个邀请函。那我们在5月13号周六的晚上6点啊，这个有哈佛和麻省啊，我的女儿 Ruby 呢会亲自到温哥华有这样一场精彩的讲座，所以大家扫一下我们大腾的二维码，回复温哥华，那我们会给大伙儿留位置，因为这个座位非常的有限，而且呢这可能也就这么一次机会啊，线下能够呢跟 Ruby 直接有一个接触，所以大家呢尽快扫码啊报名。好，那我们最近的安排呢，我跟大伙儿已经讲完了，因为刚才我不想呢耽误很多 Lucia 的时间，所以呢我只讲了一点点啊，就是藤校录取的标准到底是怎样。那实际上呢藤校录取的标准呢，很多人赶快把这一页拍下来啊，我来跟大伙儿讲一下，是非常非常的有意 意思的啊。我给很多地方讲过这场讲座，就是如何呢培养优秀的孩子。那这个在整个这个屏幕的右下面呢，是我的个人的二维码，大家可以扫这个二维码呢，然后回复文章。我写过2篇怎样教育子女的文章。那父亲呢负责呢纪律的养成和这个智力的开发，母亲负责呢人格力量的培养。那所以呢，大家如果想拿这2篇文章啊，因为今晚我可能不会讲很久，我可能给大伙快速的大约10分钟的干货分享一下啊。然后那我们呢，这个我就会把文章发给您啊。那如何培养优秀的孩子，什么样的学生可以被藤校录取啊？这些都是呢很核心的话题。那其实呢，被藤校录取的学生呢，他需要有3有标准，就是呢有能力，是指你的硬技能的能力，然后有价值，就是说呢你自己呢会有一些与众不同的地方，有梦想，就是你自己呢是为什么啊想去藤校，那这就是在你的 essay 里体现出来。那实际上呢，这个有10项它的录取标准啊，这个在这里我跟大伙可以讲一下啊。那10项呢，它的录取标准啊，当时我们女儿呢，就是按照这个标准来打造的啊，就是在这里呢，这个包括啊，第一就是呢，你的硬成绩啊，叫做四项硬技能，包括校内成绩90分以上 ，SAT 的成绩啊，这个接近满分 ，AP 的成绩至少要2门啊，这个在另外呢，学术竞赛成绩，而且 AP 的成绩2门呢，你也至少呢，就是应该都是5分啊，所以这个是当时我上一次哈佛合唱团来的时候，我做了一个非常形象的比喻，我说呢，为什么中国传统文化这么重要？是因为呢，你看啊，曾国藩家书里写到一句话，叫结硬宅打呆仗。结硬宅打呆仗什么意思呢？其实呢，就是说整个藤校的这个入学的这个路子呢，就这么简单，大家不要讲3讲4，你其实这10项你缺什么补什么就足够了。所以呢，这是硬技能啊，这就是咱的硬宅，你的这个宅子结实不结实，你的硬成绩高不高，这是摆在台面上的，必须要解决的。那另外呢，就是说你的6项软技能是什么呢？6项软技能呢，就是包括你的 summer 啊，你的暑假。像 Ruby 当时呢，他是3个暑假，然后9年级的时候去 Smith College 啊，10年级、11年级呢是 Deep River 和 Shadow Valley。我认为 Summer 对他帮助非常之大，因为呢 Summer 让他呢完成了他的大 essay 的 common essay 的写，而且呢 Summer 呢也是这些孩子为数不多的一个机会，能够去接触同学，能够增加他的人生阅历啊。另外呢就是 Club， 那 Club 呢你也不能说随随便便在这 Club 里边呢只是当一个小兵啊，那个也没有什么用，你得有几个 Club 是你自己创造出来的，这种 Club 才可以啊。这个比如说或者你至少在里边是 executive 的。另外你有哪些音乐和体育的特长啊？我发现一个很令人吃惊的一件事情，就是大部分呢这些学习好的孩子，他都有一个特别至少1项的音乐和体育的特长。像我的那个 Nicholas， 他当时在法国的时候，他的那个音乐好到被法国的这个音乐学院都已经都录取他，但他最终呢，他爸爸妈妈跟他讲说，你觉得音乐能够养活你吗？他后来想了想，还是去了麻省理工的 Computer Science 啊。所以呢，但是就是说他们音乐好到这个程度啊。另外呢，就是他们的社区义工，就是义工呢，你不能让孩子就是说浪费时间去做一些对他成长，包括将来申请将来的专业没有帮助的义工啊。另外，你的 research 成绩，就你的这个研究成绩和发明创造类的成就，这2项呢，对大部分孩子是最难的，因为他没有一个的标准。那没有标准，我怎么知道说，哎，我有发明创造，我怎么就知道有 research 呢？那我们呢，这个最后找到了一种完美的解决方案，那就是我们请到了我们的这个来自 UCL 英国伦敦大学的博士后，然后来给大伙呢来讲高中生如何写论文。那这个课程呢，就是能够让我们的学生发表论文在国际期刊上。那你说啥都没用，我有实实在在的论文发表，那这个效果就非常好啊。所以呢，其实呢，就是这就是呢大学录取的标准，4维加6维啊。那我们呢，那我们大同教育是怎么做的呢？我们是把这个孩子，如果您交到我们手中，我首先呢给你来讲一下，就是说来看看你是对医学、生物、化学这是一个类别感兴趣，还是你对高科技感兴趣 ，high tech、engineer 都是一类。 还是你是呢对这个这个文商类，就是你是读这个 business 的，还是你是读这个 econ 的，然后还是读accounting 的？基本上中国孩子就是这3大类啊。那我们通过这3大类呢，我们就开始给您做清晰的行军路线图。我们以文商类为例啊，比如说文商类哪些好大学？注意啦，北美和中国不一样，北美是因为专业去选大学，因为每一个大学它都有特别突出的专业。其实真正的呢，是因为应该呢倒着来，就是说我因为我要去，比如说法律肯定是哥伦比亚，比如说经济肯定是芝加哥大学、哈佛，这都是最好的啊。那我们呢选好专业以后，选好大学之后，咱就开始呢行军路线图就可以画出来，包括这个孩子将来毕业以后能做什么。每个人都清清楚楚的知道我为什么要花这么大的力气去读一个好大学的这个专业，这个是很重要的。那我们呢，就是我们的导师会给大伙呢，从9年级一入学9月份开始就开始画这个巨大的行军路线图，因为当时我女儿我们家墙上就挂了这么一幅巨大的行军路线图。我们每个星期她在做什么？因为孩子这10项全能太不容易了，你让他在他校内成绩考到95分以上，很多孩子就已经竭尽全力了。你同时还让他考那么多 SAT 啊、AP 啊，而且还得有课外的这些活动。所以呢，你如果不给他规划好的话，孩子自个儿是很难完成的。那这是我们文商类的规划时间轴啊。然后再这个是呢，我们的导师都会做到什么程度呢？会给大家呢，把每个月的有哪些比赛都给大家规划出来的。所以呢，你经过辅导和没经过辅导一定是不一样的。有家长居然跟我讲，他说：“哎，我问过好多上藤校的家长，他们都说，哎呀，这个我们孩子这个没有经过辅导。”我说 OK， 我说你也相信。说实话，到目前为止，so far，我从来没有听说哪个孩子一点点都没有经过辅导就能够上藤校的。那他不跟你讲真话的原因是，他也不希望你孩子上藤校。不是所有人都有我这种胸怀，希望我们华人的孩子都能上藤校。所以呢，就是说你准备啊，就是成功之路只有一条，准备、准备再准备。所以你准备过的和没准备过的，它肯定是不一样的。所以这也是我为什么呢，一直建议啊，就是家长如果有机会，应该是给孩子一些准备的条件。那实际上呢，我在这里呢，就是说，作为呢，这个就是藤妈啊，这个我自己呢，实际上是有很多体会啊。刚才讲了，就是说到底有哪一些啊，这个要求，这不是这个 AP 成绩啊，其实和我说的是一样的 ，SAT 成绩啊，然后包括这些所有的啊。那你到底怎么样才能做到这一点呢？掌握正确读书的方法，科学的规划时间和进度，阳光向上的心态，胸怀大志啊！这个阳光的心态表现在哪呢？就是冠军级别的选手永远保持自己冷静专注、最冷静、最专注的状态，把注意力集中在做好一件又一件训练中做过无数遍的事情。因为你会发现，有的孩子他就是 very good。然后有的呢是杰出的，然后呢，那你这个好和杰出的区别在哪？这就是第1名和第2名的区别。所以呢，这个还是很重要的。另外呢，怎么样能吃苦啊？能吃苦呢，不是说咱以前的传统的说，哎呀，让这孩子干体力活啊，而是说你长时间为了一件事情聚焦的能力，以及长时间为了这个做一件事情过程当中放弃的娱乐生活、无效社交、无意义的消费啊，所以这个呢，实际上都是非常重要的。我女儿啊，我有什么资格坐在这里呢？给大伙儿来讲藤妈分享呢？这个我为女儿感到骄傲和自豪呢。这个不单纯的因为她的成绩，而是呢，这个她在其他方面的，我认为呢，这个非常值得学习和推广的地方。女儿中学是多大附中，然后呢，她后来在读大学的时候呢，考大学的时候拿了几所藤校 offer， 后来我们选了芝加哥大学。她在芝加哥大学的时候是毕业的时候啊，她是经济、数学、统计、Booth 商学院4年读4个专业，接近满分啊，获得了芝加哥大学1875年建校以来3个最高荣誉大奖。然后他在2019年获得哈佛大学直读博士前，2021年获得哈佛大学全奖的博士 offer 啊。那他那个荣获什么荣誉呢？就是他的中学干过什么呢 ？DECA 啊，演讲加拿大第1名，国际第2名。然后另外呢，这个大学1年级的时候啊，他在这个当时是我其实想跟大伙讲讲这件事情啊，那个 就是我为什么希望能够呢跟大伙儿来聊一下呢？就是我觉得女儿成长的经历应该对很多人有启发。她大学2年级的时候呢，这个我先生啊，就是他父亲突然去世，然后呢，女儿呢就是坚强自立，她记住爸爸的教诲，用所学的知识解决社会问题。所以呢，她当时放弃了投行优厚的工作，然后那个暑假，她顶着烈日采访难民和寻求庇护者，最后做数据分析。然后他呢，这个大3的时候呢，他是做这个研究啊，他自己研究的题目就是如何消除经济不平等对人的影响啊。他获得了法贝塔全美历史最悠久的社会学荣誉大奖，在斯坦福大学本科经济杂志发表论文啊。然后另外呢，大4的时候呢，他就是刚才我提到的1890年建校以来的 Student Marshal， 这是一个很高的荣誉，微观经济奖和论文奖。最后呢，他就是这个哈佛、麻省、耶鲁、普林斯顿、伯克利全奖博士 offer。实际上这是女儿啊，就是说她的整个这个过程。那我觉得呢，她去年8月份，她呢有2篇论文啊，那个在《自然》杂志上发表。我自己其实最感动的是什么呢？就是我觉得就是女儿呢，在这个过程当中，她呢永远不放弃，对自己呢永远有追求的这种精神力量和内驱力。所以我希望呢，就是这一点，我是希望能够跟大家来分享一点。我非常希望分享的就是传统文化对于家庭教育的重要性，很多人忽略了这一点啊，就是包括我刚才讲的这个，包括节俭啊。你看女儿她这件衣服呢，9年级她爸爸给她买的，她去年圣诞节回来穿了12年，还是穿的这件衣服。因为只有当一个孩子呢，他的注意力从这个物质享受当中移走的时候，他才会呢更好的把注意力集中在这个精神方面的这个就是追求啊。然后另外呢，就是感恩。因为很多年轻人呢，就是实际上呢，就是我觉得，尤其是在这儿长大的孩子，我们家长呢老是觉得孩子在这儿长大啊，要自由啊，然后要这个尊重啊，但是实际上我们忽略了很重要的一点，就是无论是哪一种文化，感恩都是非常重要的一种文化啊。所以呢，这个我自己最骄傲的是呢，不是女儿说上哈佛啊，而是说我把一个在多伦多读中学的，然后在美国读大学读博士的孩子培养成一个朴实无华的山东姑娘，我觉得这是非常重要的。所以我希望大家不要就是忽略呢对于中国传统文化的这个教育对孩子来讲。那实际上呢，像这个就是女儿这个中文学习啊，她当时就中文学习我们做到什么程度呢？就是你要激发她的这个就是中文的这个热情。我们把全套的他爸爸全套的金庸全集全部用汉语拼音这个读出来，我相信很少有父亲做到这一点。所以呢，我其实还想讲一下，作为家长，你是否准备好了？就是希望家长呢能够呢，就是跟孩子一起来走爬成这条路。每个孩子的成功都是被设计出来的。有一本著名的这个纪录片叫做《人生7年》，那这个呢，他是拍了14个孩子，从7岁到63岁，然后看完了以后呢，非常震撼，得出了2个结论：教育是改变阶层固化的唯一方法，父母是孩子的起点啊。那我们呢，这个父母应该怎样具备哪些素质？第一，充分挖掘孩子的潜能啊。刚才我已经讲了，像我们是那样来挖掘女儿的这个就是学习中文的这个动力。然后另外一点呢，人生一定要有目标，然后为了达成目标，必须的奋斗与坚持。当时女儿呢，其实她那个 DECA 的时候呢，实际上对她很有挑战性，因为呢，她不像我这么能说，她成绩很好，但是呢，性格从小是比较特别内敛，特别呢，这个就是相对来讲呢，这个比较内向的一个孩子。当时呢，就是 DECA 呢，我花了大量的时间和精力，10年级的时候，我认为对他来说是一个转折点就是然后帮助他的这个不断的练习，最后呢，他获得了DECA全加拿大第1名，代表加拿大去美国比赛，获得了 International 第2名。那个事情对他的帮助很大，他就突然之间很有自信，他获得了学习过程当中的快乐。所以呢，他后来现在做 presentation 都做得很漂亮然后再另外呢，就是说呢，我希望呢，父母永远把教育放在第1位，因为我们从认知、从学识、从时间投入方面，然后呢，都能够呢，为人父母需要全方面的准备这个另外一点呢，就是把时间也要花上去，因为我们的孩子属于明天。 属于我们做梦也无法达到的明天。我们唯一能做的，给他插上腾飞的翅膀，让他在梦想的天空中翱翔，好吧？所以呢，希望为了孩子，父母要成为更好的自己啊。这个整个爬藤其实都是一场马拉松。我说实话啊，这个那大藤在做什么呢？就是把山脚的孩子拉到山腰，把山腰的孩子拉到山顶，把山顶的孩子我们把他领着到了光明顶啊。所以我们基本上呢，就是不是说单纯的说一定要这个讲上藤校的孩子才需要大藤的一个培养。其实呢，我们希望每个家长都希望孩子优秀，我都相信经历过这个过程之后，我们可以更好的帮到您啊。那我也希望呢，每个家长都能够知道，没有任何一项事业比培养优秀的孩子、构建幸福的家庭啊更加伟大。希望每个孩子都能在父母守望的麦田里长得饱满又金黄，结出甜美的果实啊。那你看，这是我们大藤导师 Nicholas 麻省理工毕业的时候啊，这个我去麻省理工呢这个参观，哎呀，我自己呢非常的震撼。我当时说了一句话，我说呢，砸锅卖铁把孩子送到这里来都是值得的。这些孩子获得的这种资源，获得的呢这种呢就是他的同学，然后包括他的导师，我认为呢真的不是说哎我这个爹妈特别有钱给他留作金山能够取代的。所以呢，亲爱的家长们啊，这是我们的博士生导师，这个哈佛博士生 Connie。Heather 商学院那个 Wharton 商学院 Heather 哥伦比亚 Jenny 然后 Ruby 啊，然后我希望总有一种力量让我们泪流满面啊，让我们抖擞精神，梦想成真啊！希望呢每一个家长能够把这句话记下来，那就是呢我们有2份永久的遗产留给孩子，一个是根，一个是翅膀。根是面对困境的信念，翅膀是适应困境的能力，而父母给孩子的精神财富才是伴随孩子一生的事物，好吗？这个刚才跟大伙也已经介绍过了啊。那个，这是我们前几年啊，每一个这种耶鲁的、麻省的这些好的大学的啊，这些好的大学啊。那我亲爱的小伙伴们，最后呢，再一次啊，给大家这个机会，如果呢，大家希望能够让我们这些藤校的导师给孩子有个半小时的免费1对1咨询的话，大家可以扫整个屏幕左边的二维码，另外呢，可以填写腾讯问卷，然后我们有5个名额送给大家啊，这种机会真的是非常非常的难得啊，非常非常的难得。另外呢，也再一次提醒大家，4月1号周六晚上6点半有一场大同教育和我们的荣耀基建馆联手的一场呢基建嘉年华，如何通过基建这个运动啊，然后让孩子能够更好的为藤校加分。我们请到了我们那一代的这个偶像啊，这个栾菊杰老师啊，然后再另外呢就是呢这个多大医学院这个讲座非常值得一听，4月23号。你知道急诊医学毕业，只要是完整的毕业，就有可能拿到年薪50万。我觉得这个哇太重要了啊！然后再另外呢，就是 Ruby 啊和轩逸他们会在5月13号在温哥华有一场线下讲座，多伦多还从来没搞过，说实话啊。然后这次也是呢，真的是赶巧。我去温哥华呢，做那个就是地产的这个高峰论坛，然后女儿正好去看我，所以呢，温哥华的朋友就有这么一个比较好的机会啊，可以听到面对面和他们有个沟通和交流啊。大家可以扫码。好的，那亲爱的小伙伴们，希望呢最后一句话是别让平凡的生活耗尽我们所有的想我，愿你我忠于自己，披星戴月培养最好的子女啊。那我们呢，大家可以加一下这个地方的屏幕的我的个人的二维码啊，这个屏幕的右边是我个人的二维码，回复文章2个字啊，我就知道呢，您需要呢这个拿到文章，那我会把呢，因为今天呢时间比较紧张啊，这个而且我也的确太辛苦太累了，我从早上7点钟一直工作到现在，所以呢我没有办法跟大伙讲更多的一些藤妈的分享，然后但是呢这个有机会我还会讲更多的，我先把这2篇文章发给大家，所以大家可以扫一下屏幕右边的这个我个人的二维码，回复文章，我愿意发给大家，可以看一下啊。好的，那再一次呢，就是跟大家感谢我们所有的家长今天呢跟我们一起度过了非常开心的一个晚上。那我也给大家呢介绍一下呢，就是我们周一到周日1周7天呢，我们都会有呢这个7场免费的共学营。 这些共学营呢，目的是为了让我们的家长能够呢找一份好工作，或者是赚更多的钱。所以呢，这个目的是赚更多的钱，为什么呢？就是我们可以给孩子最好的教育资源啊。那今天的结场音乐，我刚才已经跟我这边的同事 Adam 说了，我会请他放一下呢。因为 Ruby 和我呢，在2020年的11月30号，我先生去世3周年的时候，我们做过一场呢这个3小时的讲座。当时呢，麦克老师，我现在的先生啊，我在去年呢，在2个女儿的支持下 ，Ruby 和麦克老师女儿，她女儿是多大医学院的牙医啊，也是全校第1名啊。然后呢，这个我再次找到了一个幸福啊！当时呢，麦克老师呢，这个他呢剪辑了一段特别感人的视频，也是我们音乐学院的老师专门为我们那场讲座啊讲了一下父母和子女的关系，然后我觉得还是非常值得一听的。今天的晚安音乐，我会给大伙呢放一下那首音乐。那我们呢，明天晚上8点 ，Zoom ID 同一个81685340181。然后我们会有一场睡眠保卫战，我们的聂小卫老师会来告诉大家如何快速提高睡眠质量。我觉得这个讲座真的是一个实用的讲座，太多人啊，由于生活压力，包括方方面面，然后呢睡不着或者睡眠质量不高。然后聂老师的这个讲座呢，会让我们知道真正的好睡眠原来需要这样做。大家可以加一下我们闪列2维码。那我们周2晚上呢，永远246都是地产讲座，我们会讲呢，现在这个整个这个建筑特别的有名气，从装修工到建筑商的关键步骤我们请到 Bruce 老师来给大伙讲普通人如何进到建筑这个行业里然后呢能够建房子、建房培训然后那我们周3晚上是 Excel 的免费送课，如何制作旋风图展示呢这个不同期间的成果对比。是我们的 Frank 老师主讲周3晚上8点钟，81685340181周4晚上地道英语开口说，克服演讲焦虑的5个最实用的技巧，我们的英语男神 Jerry 老师讲加一下我们的 Kevin 小助手，周4晚上8点钟都有6小时的英语学习大送课，非常的精彩。那我们呢，周5晚上6小时的数据分析免费送课 ，Power BI 应用 ，Power BI 应用的越来越多6小时 Power BI， 这是非常实用的一门课，大家呢可以来听一下。那我们下个周6晚上是我们的电气工程评估师在这个电工这个行业里这个评估师其实男女皆可，而且工资很高。那请我们的 Max 老师给大伙来讲81685340181那我们在4月2号晚上8点钟，我们的男神夏一楠老师和我们的陈律师带来一个如何利用法律武器维护地产投资人的合法权益，涉及到第一次讲到了地产投资中的这个法律问题，从来没有讲过亚国地产投资常见法律问题很棒，所以大家扫一个2维码，不要忘记，好吧？好，亲爱的小伙伴们，再一次感谢大家的聆听这是我们维多利亚教育集团的这个 VIC EDU Education 这个我们的微信公众号，这是我们的 YouTube 频道，这是我们的小红书账号，这是官方视频号，大家可以关注维多利亚教育集团24年如一日，陪伴大家的成长，无论是求职、创业、投资，还是我们的子女教育，我们都在这里，让大家能够发挥潜能，成为更好的自己，好吗？好，谢谢大家。那我下面把时间交给我们的达姆，然后来给大伙呢放一下今天晚上的晚安音乐，感人的晚安音乐。我们永远不要忘记父母和子女的关系，父母和子女的这份亲情，希望我们每个人都能够对得起这个有句话叫说，孩子是天上的星星，他在天上往下看，说选谁来当我的爸爸，选谁来当我的妈妈。我希望我们为人父母能够对得起孩子对我们的信任，我们努力的让孩子接受到最好的教育，好吗？好，那我把时间交给我们的达姆然后我们晚安音乐结束，我们就完美的结束了一个这个美丽的周日明天晚上8点钟，维多利亚共学营和您不见不散。好，达姆在吗？我把时间交给您我把时间这个交给交给我们的这个 Adam 那个帮忙给那个什么，帮忙给放一下帮忙给放一下我们的那个晚安音乐温哥华 Ruby 那个没有录播可能那个 没有办法提供那个录播，那个是一个现场的直播啊。这个看一下，如果大家多伦多的小伙伴们反响非常热烈的话啊，他们你可能放一下音乐，麻烦您啊，这个放一下 Ruby 的那个音乐啊，谢谢。如果大家多伦多反响非常热烈，我可能会考虑啊，请 Ruby 呢，这个什么时候回来的时候呢，做一场多伦多的讲座啊。这个好的，谢谢家长们啊，谢谢家长啊，这个娜姐对。这个可能应该不一定会有录播啊，这个我试试看啊，谢谢娜姐啊，在我们的直播间里。好的，好，那亲爱的小伙伴们，那我们明天晚上8点钟不见不散，不要忘记啊，4月1号我们有一场线下活动，又是无比精彩的一场线下活动。好，那我们在美丽的音乐当中和大家这个道一声晚安，谢谢。